years of years, and it's this week in Disney for March 7th to March 13th.
There you go.
Hey.
Well in.
Today is an exciting day.
It is.
Yes.
A big week for us.
It is a big week because we're celebrating my mom's, we'll say, milestone birthday.
Milestone birthday.
Yeah.
Not the diamond yet. Not the diamond jubilee, but getting
Well,
close.
I'm just saying, I'm gonna respect her and not say her age.
Well done.
But
daughter.
it's so exciting and
for someone who deals in years and facts so much, such restraint.
Showing restraint.
Yes. But big plans, no restraint in the plans.
I know. We're going to have an exciting week.
Yeah, we're going to be on property
Mm-hmm.
and in Animal Kingdom Lodge. And
Yes.
what we're talking about today as well is tied
Mm-hmm.
to that. Kind of already have my tropical
He's
getaway.
ready for a
I'm ready.
safari for sure.
For sure.
And it's nice and hot here in Florida right
Yes,
now.
it's come back. It's real.
Yeah, for sure.
Spring
But
is sprung.
this week, back in 2008,
There you go.
on March 8th, so on Tuesday, over at Disney's Animal Kingdom, a baby zebra named Kidani is
There you
born.
go. Sound familiar?
It's actually the first of the Hartman's mountain zebras at Walt Disney World. So when you go on the safari now, you'll hear them talking about the Hartman mountain zebra. This was the first one in 2008 that was born at, not the first one there, but born.
Yeah.
So there's lots of them. Lots
And
have been born.
And named so before.
No, he was named after it. So Kidani
Okay.
was opening at the similar time. So they named the zebra
Mythbuster.
after Kidani, the Kidani village. And so I was like looking all into this. First of all, these Hartman zebras, they're basically mountain zebras, and I guess they used to differentiate them now. The
Black
two,
with white stripes, white with black stripes.
Well, no, they have the
What is it?
agility for mountains.
Ah.
Yeah. So what's neat about these zebras is that they're very playful. They like to play like all day. And I was reading that they like to kind of follow the sun. Like they'll wake up in the sun and then spend time in the shade. And anyway, it kind of made me think of how
lovers of the life of leisure.
they know how to do the hot weather correctly for sure. But they do well in it. And then what's really cool is, and I'm sure you've maybe heard this before with zebras and their stripes. Like you kind of think, how is that like camouflage for, an animal? But in the heat, when they're like out, it kind of looks like the way the vapor of the heat off the sand or whatever. And so from a distance, you wouldn't see them if they're very still.
Well, especially with so many animals not dealing with the full spectrum that we enjoy in color. Probably it works.
Right. So these zebra, their stripes are off-white and black. And they don't go all the way. The stripes don't go all the way. Like they stop like for the belly. Okay. So that's interesting too.
Kind of nice.
We don't really hang out close. We
More
see
like
zebra a lot, but we don't hang out close to them. So, I'm sure people who work with zebra know all these things very well.
Call us up, zebras. We want to hang out.
But they're so pretty. I really love zebra. Really I was like, I don't have a zebra type top. I don't know. Or outfit or whatever.
I'm feeling tropical in that sense.
Yeah, for sure.
I mean, putting this on even inspired me to say that I'm going to be wearing a lot more. I'm a native down here.
New things for years and years.
More.
Brad,
more.
Wearing zebra.
Hawaiian.
Or not zebra, Hawaiian. Well, maybe you get a zebra.
And for sure.
For sure.
I should just go right down to Tommy Bahama at Disney Springs. I love their stuff. It's always awesome to go in there.
They have some cool shirts that seem appropriate for you.
And
yeah, like what you like.
No,
the other thing was the zebra, the Kidani name specifically. I was like, wow, they named, this lodge after this word, and the zebra, it must be so cool. It means jewelry. That's all I could find was that it means jewelry. So
wow, adornment.
Interesting. Huh? Well, if you think about Kidani Village, if you guys have been there and walked through the halls, there is like a lot of jewelry hanging on the walls and jewelry to look at. So
I can see that.
Probably a lot more tie-in.
Thank you for that. Yeah, I haven't really drawn that. I'm going to look this week.
Yeah.
A lot closer.
We're going to delve in and ask lots of
I think we'll drop that to the story. So, Instagram, years and years.
For sure.
Catch that story.
For sure. But moving on to the rest of this week in Disney.
Very nice.
So, March 7th, so go back a day because that.
Or today
birthday,
if you're watching Monday. Thank you.
That birthday was on March 8th. 1927. Unfortunately, you can't watch this Alice comedy, but I wanted to bring it up because I thought it was really interesting. So it's called Alice the Collegiate with Margie Gay is released.
Now, does that mean going like a student going to school?
Well, what it means is that she gets a job teaching football at a local college.
Okay.
Where the star quarterback is none other than Julius the cat.
Okay.
So I thought this was interesting on a couple levels because we're talking about 1927, and this was a cartoon about a girl being coaching football.
Yeah.
That was interesting.
Oh,
I thought it was kind of cool. And then, of course, Julius the cat is in this one. So you can go, if you just look up Alice the Collegiate, you'll see pictures and stuff of what they were doing with that one. But I couldn't find it. So, darn. Like, where are these cartoons?
Always interesting to see.
How do we lose this stuff?
Well, you know.
It's so hard.
Yeah. It's quite a narrative.
I mean, we're almost getting... We're so close to 100 years on that one. So
there you go.
That's, it's understandable, but also sad. Digitize these things for sure. But, well,
Alice.
I mean, if they're around, obviously.
Alice.
Yeah.
Champion of Women. 1938.
1927. You're
there you go. Mythbusters.
All right. 1941, March 7th, Disney's Donald Duck short, Golden Eggs, is released. And so Donald, he's having a hard time harvesting the eggs from the hen house, mainly because of the rooster. Okay. And so he tries to trick the rooster by being a female rooster.
Yeah.
It's hilarious. And so you guys can watch this one. It's really funny. Like the whole concept of it, I think, is a funny cartoon.
What year?
Get a laugh. 1941.
1941.
Yeah, there you go. It was a fun one. And then in 2008, in a ceremony prior to the park's opening, Disney legend Bob Gurr receives a window at Disneyland's Main Street, USA.
A celebrated window. Right.
So his designs included Autopia, the monorail, omnivores, and all the Main Street vehicles. Like I think he's quoted as saying, if it has wheels, I designed it.
I don't know that he has said. Well, maybe he did, but certainly others have said it of him.
He worked hard.
Yeah.
Yeah, and knowing his history, like I've heard him talk about his history as a kid and everything, like he wasn't like hardcore trained. He was just really, really smart and could figure things out. Yeah. And he said, one thing I always remember him saying is he never said no. Like when Walt asked him to do something, he just never said no. Even like this whole monorail thing, he just didn't say no. And it happened. Yeah. So that's impressive, I think, for sure.
Incredible wit, but very understated in his willingness to acknowledge his greatness, which makes it so beautiful.
So window well deserved.
Yes.
Absolutely over there at Disneyland. And then moving on to March 8th, 1946, Disney's Goofy short, A Night for a Day, directed by Jack Hanna, is released. And so Goofy is preparing his knight, Sir Loin Steak? Is that right?
Sir Loin Steak.
For a joust.
Get on down.
And Circumference when an accident demands that Goofy has to take his place. I just thought the names were hilarious. Yeah. I love these medieval.
Maybe loin steak is just a cut of meat that's not desirable.
Yeah. Circumference, I think they're talking about his size, maybe.
Yes.
Yeah, for sure. Check it out. It's really, I love the medieval ones. They're so funny. Oh, yes. And Goofy cartoons are the best.
The chivalry. Yes.
So good. Yeah, for sure. Goofy's name is playing the role of Cedric in this.
There you go.
So check it out.
Cedric Goof.
Yeah. Then in 2013, you'll remember this movie. It was the live action Oz the Great and Powerful.
Yes. Okay.
Okay.
Yeah. No.
You want to talk about it?
Very well. Okay, so I'm a big fan of Oz. I mean, big.
Right.
Like, we have reprints of the first editions. I read them in junior high, and just really, I think, rescued me at a time that I was willing to abandon my childhood and made me feel like it was okay and even desirable and maybe encourageable to, like, maintain fairy tales and stories of that nature in your life. And he did it so well. And his letters to his fans, so endearing, and really written from the perspective of the great, like, librarian of Oz, and just, he was a steward of Oz and its message. Much has been done with Oz.
That's cool.
I'm not really, I'll just confess, and I may have said it on here before, I'm not really a big fan of, like, Wicked and, like, some of the portrayals of things. Like, Glinda is a sacred queen of the fairy, like, realm. And, you know, it's just very, very interesting. But Disney's treatment, and I understood that there was further plans to, like, do more, I thought was amazing and very well done.
So you really like this film?
Oh, yes. I think it's a wonderful tribute to Oz and a continuation of Oz, even in the liberties that they took. They didn't take any liberties that I don't think were, like, inappropriate. Like, they fleshed out what is a decidedly small map, but a rich history of a world, and represented all of the people and kingdoms very well.
Yeah.
It was
I
very
appreciate
good.
that. That was cool about it.
Even the conflict of power and magic and envy and competition, all done well and true to Oz.
Yeah. It did well. We're not really going to delve into it a bunch. Maybe we can cover it another time. But I don't know how well it did in the box office, but I think
A-list
it did
talent.
well.
Yeah, it was very
2013. So this came out in 2D, digital 3D, real 3D, IMAX formats as well. So remember that when everything was coming out in 3D, or like all these versions, and
we'll
now
have to come back and revisit it, because honestly, a lot of great talent in it.
Yeah.
But
for sure. We'll definitely have to talk about it another time, for sure. But moving on to March 10th, 1953. This is really interesting to me. Africa, USA, a wildlife tourist attraction opened in Boca Raton, Florida. Yeah.
Really?
Yes. So
We love
this
Boca.
really awesome couple called, John and Lillian Pedersen opened this up. They were so cool. They had lived in California, and I guess they were working out in the fields and stuff, and they were, like, imagining, like, Africa animals living there. So they just had this dream to have this Africa theme park kind of thing. And they ended up in Wisconsin for a while during the housing boom, and he was selling houses for, like, I think they were $1,000, but then he'd sell, like, if you bought a house for $1,000, you could buy another one for a penny. That was his big deal. So they made a lot of money. And so then they actually went to Florida to do this theme park, and they opened it up. It was actually hugely successful. It did really well. 1953. And this was one of the places that Walt went out and checked when he was thinking about doing, when he was in the work of doing Disneyland. So it definitely had, he frequented it, and even considered purchasing the 300-acre site. It ended up being closed in 1961, mainly because Boca Raton the city did not like the tourists, because they were getting, like, I think it was like 300,000 people or whatever coming there. And it definitely put Boca Raton on the map.
Almost broke the inner coastal.
But I love this couple. They were really cute. I think they had 2 kids who were really
South Florida is full of these stories. It makes me think of as the Bonnet House in Fort Lauderdale, just a couple hours south of this.
And I mean, that was just a house. Like, this was something everyone could go to. I'm sure the people at Bonnet House went and visited.
Yes, they were patrons.
Florida was still super raw at this time. Like, you imagine other places as being developed, but Florida wasn't.
Like 50 years old.
There was a lot of...
In some people's...
I mean, they had to dig and really do everything to make this work. So it took a lot of work. But it was real Florida at its best. That's the article I read. A little tropical, a little kitschy, but a lot of fun for all who had the privilege to visit.
Yeah.
So it was the same time as Cypress Gardens, too. So you could go to Africa, USA. So there has been these attractions.
Yeah, and there was gator tours down there, and gator, like Seminole, like gator wrestling.
Yeah.
Like, it was a hotbed for that.
All sorts of things.
They were trying to make it like a...
I think people have always had their sight on Florida being sort of a themed, fun, place to go.
When they stopped using it as a prison.
What? Is that true?
Yes.
Okay.
The colonies sent all their prisoners down here.
Well, there you go. That's a long time ago. All right. In 2009, Disney officially launches D23, and that's also on March 10th. So it's their first fan organization with the premiere issue, D23 Magazine.
Yeah.
Paying homage to 1923, the year that the Walt Disney Company was, created.
Sometimes you wonder, because we obviously are members, we pay, and you get the most wonderful gifts.
You really do.
You get the most wonderful gifts, and you're like...
worth it.
Sometimes, I mean, obviously they're producing them in bulk, but you're like, this is like very, this is more valuable than what I paid for it. Like, they're really awesome gifts, and some of the perks and discounts. So like, one can almost be like, wow, why do they do this? And I think that it's because it is so valuable. I mean, it changed everything. Yeah. It gave fans a voice. It gave Disney legends a voice. It really just brought back to the surface everybody's ability to express their love.
It connects fans. Legends,
I think it changed
all
everything.
These different people.
It changed everything.
Well, this is what they said, or Bob Iger said at this opening. He said, "We have a fantastic legacy that started in 1923 and is based on timeless stories, beloved characters, and unforgettable experiences. But it's our fans that keep the spirit of Disney alive year after year." Generation after generation. D23 is our way of saying thank you and celebrating our fans who bring the magic of Disney to life every day in every corner of the world. And I think this is so important. Like, when you appreciate the people who are supporting you like this, we're fans of Disney, so we're supporting the company this way, and D23 is a way of giving back to all the fans. I think that sort of philosophy is so important to not lose sight of.
Sometimes I feel like D23 saved us from forgetting.
Yeah.
Like, we were actually at a point that there were people remembering, there were people beating the drum, there were people creating content, but as an entire community, people were forgetting, and it's just D23 brought everything right back from center.
It's awesome. We've enjoyed it. I don't know.
And outreach events.
Are you guys?
So if you don't live near Disney, they bring it to major cities.
We have enjoyed those D23 events in Chicago and things like that. Have you guys enjoyed some D23 things? Tell us, about that as well, because we'd love to hear your opinion. And then,
sorry, I went a little long.
March 11th. 2010, the Academy Award-winning composers of the music from It's a Small World, The Enchanted Tiki Room, as well as Mary Poppins, Richard M. Sherman and Robert B. Sherman, received a tribute window at Disneyland's Main Street. So I thought that was interesting. It must be a time, they were...
Yeah.
So this time of year must be when they work on the...
Could have coincided with parade releases too.
I don't know, but that's really cool that they definitely their music is so iconic if you think about it, and so important to Disney. And then moving on to March,
I wonder how much it was tied to the recognition from D23 too, and just the fans being like, hey, we love these people, we want to see more of them in the parks.
Yeah,
it's just awesome.
And then March 13th, 1969, the film The Love Bug is released. Who's a Love Bug fan out there? I think there's lots of them. And we have seen Love Bugs.
Oh, yeah, right here in
We've
Florida.
seen one at Disney.
All the time.
Maybe it's the same one.
I think it is often.
Yeah.
Often, yeah.
That's cool.
You speak about how many people love the Love Bug. I mean, really, it's like Herbie for me. I like fell in love with it because of my like father's endorsement of it. Like I remember being a child and him just like I could see the light and glow in him, like how much he had loved Herbie. And a lot of times, you know, we take it as a footnote in like Disney history. There were 5 films. Four films. 4 films.
Well, at least 4. Yeah.
With big talent.
Yeah.
And the first one is awesome.
Yeah.
And they bring up the ante later.
I think the first one, too, like it's all the like drama of figuring out that this car is like alive and can do stuff. It's so cute. But yeah.
And they're coming out of like the Annette like beach movie like phase of like different things.
This was Dean Jones and Michelle Lee and Buddy Hackett.
Older, not teenagers a little bit. And, you know, so it's wide appeal, but like really on the pulse of cultural movements at the time. I mean, the counterculture and hippies are like very present, like interacting and, you know, making, you know, throughout. So there was social dialogue in it as well. I mean, it was on the pulse.
It was fun. It was cool. Makes me want to watch it today. For sure. And then also March 13th, 2015, Cinderella, the live action Cinderella is released. Okay, I personally really love this movie. I thought it was really beautiful. I thought it had a fantastic message. I thought it was good. Of all the live action films, I think this is my favorite. My daughters have seen it so many times too.
I've watched it twice and I have a hard time remembering it. Like, it's a very weird one for me.
I know. It's funny because he always says that. He's like, I barely, and always like, it's
so weird.
Good. It's so good. Who hopes that Brad sits down and pays attention to this movie?
Yeah. I loved the carriage at Hollywood Studios. This was before Galaxy's Edge had opened up, right before they shut that boulevard down there.
It was so pretty when they had the carriage from the film. Oh my goodness. We did get to see that. We happened to be here on vacation because we didn't live here.
Yeah.
That was magical, for sure. Yes.
And I love its treatment. I mean, I love the casting. I love the costuming. I love everything about it. So I do remember a lot about it.
I think it had butterflies on it. Oh, it was so pretty and magical. But the message, and I really like the things that she said and how she represented being just this strong woman and like despite how she was treated. You know, she chose to be kind and chose to be generous, and she wasn't treated that way at all. And of course, that's really how the whole story of the Cinderella works. But I think it was encaptured really well in this, and we just all need a little more kindness all the time, I think. It helps a lot. But that's it for this week in Disney. Alrighty.
That's unkind.
Guys, I want to hear what you guys think about the topics. If you haven't seen some of these films or the things we talked about, go check them out and tell us in the comments what you think. If you guys know about like Africa USA, like more about it, we'd love to hear.
Whoops. Off to a birthday.
Yep. And we'll have a good week, and we'll see you guys next time.
Bye.